Welcome to Exchanging Weights for Wings, the podcast where we trade life's burdens for God's promises. I'm your host, La'Shelle Lofton, author of Exchanging Weights for Wings. For years, I carried the weight of shame, fear, and disappointment. But God showed me how to release those weights and rise on His promises of freedom. Now, I'm here to walk with you as you make your own exchange. If you're ready to rise above what once held you down, you're in the right place. Let's begin today's journey. So I'd like to start off with a Bible scripture, and this is found in the Amplified version, and it's 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 7, and it says this: casting all your cares, all your anxieties, all your worries, and all your concerns, once and for all, on Him, for He cares about you with deepest affection and watches over you very carefully. What this says to me is we have to trust God with every aspect of our lives. He sees everything. Nothing escapes Him. He doesn't sleep and He doesn't slumber. If we can't even add a single hair to our heads by worrying, why bother holding on to that weight? Yes, the unknown is scary, but when you trust Him enough to take His hand, He will not lead you down the wrong path. Worry only drains us, but trust frees us. God is inviting you to release it all into His care because He truly loves you. I wrote Exchanging Weights for Wings because I wanted someone to know that they are not alone. I remember sitting in singles ministry classes thinking, this just isn't helping me. What I needed was honesty. I needed someone to say, yes, I've had to walk past my past every single day. And La'Shelle, here's how I chose not to go back. But instead, the classes often felt shallow and disconnected from real struggles. Here's an example. I remember one night the facilitator said, okay, ladies, tonight we're going to talk about loving ourselves. Another week it was about finding a hobby. And on Valentine's Day, we all went to dinner. But because the conversation ran dry, someone finally asked, so what's y'all favorite Disney movie? And in that moment, I thought, that is it. I cannot do this anymore. Oh gosh. But to make things worse, the older married women would say to me, marriage is not all what you think it is, or the only reason you all want to get married is to have sex. And that was not the case at all. And every time I heard it, I grew more furious inside. I wasn't chasing marriage for sex. I wanted companionship, partnership, and purpose. I wasn't alone in feeling this way either. I had one friend at church who shared my exact sentiments about those classes. And just like me, she was constantly told the same dismissive things, that we didn't understand marriage, that our desires to be married was shallow. We both knew how isolating it felt to sit through that kind of misunderstanding week after week. Singleness started to feel like a badge of dishonor, like a mark of failure. People assumed things about me that weren't true, and the lack of real guidance created the perfect storm of misunderstanding and isolation. Eventually, I unfortunately stopped going to singles classes altogether. I didn't feel seen, I didn't feel understood. At the time, what I did not realize was I was searching for understanding in the wrong places, because the truth is, God understood me all along. And that's why I wrote this book, Exchanging Weights for Wings, because it's my way of saying, I understand. I've been there. I know the weight, and I also know the exchange that can lift you into freedom. And I want to be clear that I'm not saying that I'm God by a long shot. I wouldn't even dream of saying it. What I'm saying is God understood what was lacking. And even while I was still trying to get it right, He used my story to help someone else avoid the same mistakes. We overcome by our testimonies, and this book is mine. Thank you for listening to Exchanging Weights for Wings. If today's message encouraged you, don't keep it to yourself. Share this podcast with a friend who needs it. And if you haven't yet, order your copy of Exchanging Weights for Wings to start your own exchange. Until next time, remember, you don't have to carry the weight. God has given you wings.